All right, this is a continuation of our series on words of the Master Jesus. This is series 103, lesson number 001, Unsettling Sounds, Heavenly Music. Unsettling Sounds, Heavenly Music. 103, lesson 103. All right, here's our scripture reading for this message. Matthew 5, 1 through 13. And we want you to make a note of that and please do so. Read it yourself. But let's look at it. Let's look at the text itself. Now, when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and sat down. This was Jesus' custom. His disciples came to him, and verse 2, he began to teach them the Beatitudes. He said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me." He said, "Rejoice," in verse 12, "be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." And then he makes the point of our lesson. You are the salt of the earth. But if that salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. That was heavenly music to those who were listening to him. And that brings us to our message for today, which we focus on verse 13. But let's look again as we begin at the Beatitudes. As we move, Jesus, got away often to pray, and he'd often invite his disciples to come up there with him. And he opened his mouth and taught, saying, and this is where our series title came from, Words of the Master. And we have been covering Words of the Master over several of our lessons, and we want you to continue with us. Let's take a look here at the Beatitudes. There were 8 basic blessings, and here's how they broke down. Blessing 1 was poor in spirit. Blessed are those who are poor in spirit. And he said theirs was the kingdom of heaven. Then he said, blessed are they that mourn, and they shall be what? Comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, and they will be what? Filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted, he said, for my sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And then he made our point. All believers, if you become a believer of Jesus Christ, you become the salt of the earth. And then this breaks down for us our message in a little more detail. When we talk about the gospel, the God spell, we're saying that God is speaking through Jesus, and he can speak through you too. Jesus became a passage, a bridge, a hollow bamboo through which Jesus could flow. He flowed first as the Son of God, and he sang the heavenly music of the Son of God. The Bible is a book of books. The word Bible means book. And from Abraham, we were able to see the genealogy of Jesus. That genealogy broke down into 42 generations, most of it in the Old Testament. And then Jesus was born in the New Testament. He was the new covenant. He, in his Lord's Supper, said, I am the new covenant. My blood shed for you represents the new covenant. And we see our word for fulfillment here, and that word, P-L-E-R, pleterum. It means fulfillment. Jesus was the fulfillment of the law of Moses. He was the fulfillment of God's plan for salvation for us all. And no one moves beyond Jesus. We become at home. We are at home with Jesus. And when we follow him, when we believe in him, we too become the salt of the earth. More in our next lesson.